Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the Venus Star Point practitioner, herself, Sandy Reevy.
Hi, everyone. Let's get ready for the VSP.
It is episode 347 in the week of March 17th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we start the week off with Wednesday, the 19th, Sun conjunct Neptune.
Be super creative.
Thursday, the 20th, Sun ingress Aries.
Spring equinox.
Friday, March 21st, Venus retrograde sextile Pluto.
Second of three. How's that commitment going?
Saturday, the 22nd, Venus retrograde cazimi the Sun.
Sign up for the Venus Talisman.
And Sunday, the 23rd, Sun sextile Pluto.
Surge of power.
And on the horizon, we have the Venus cazimi Sun Talisman workshop coming up on March 22nd. So sign up today, as well as our upcoming retreat roster, which is Greece in September and Italy in October. And also stay tuned for our house where Sandy's recapping her conference she just came back from and her latest webinars. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river, wash yourself clean so you can deliver you.
Hello, Venus Star Point practitioner.
Well, hello. I'm working on this this webinar that I'm doing. We do a couple, maybe two. Well, we for sure always do the Venus Star Point Talisman webinar, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's a live event online at a particular time that is best served for talismanic magic. And this again is something we do every 9 months. So we do get it once a year. We did the last one in June, which was the Venus Star Point Direct in Gemini. And so it was like curiosity, information gathering, right? And now we're moving into the Venus retrograde, meeting up with the Sun at 2 degrees of Aries. So it's this from curiosity, whatever Venus had kind of impregnated, let's say, last June, it is now time to give birth to that. Right, on March 22nd. And so we give birth to whatever knowledge or information or new subject matter or what has stimulated us last time, in summer of last year of 24, we give it up to actually doing that now, right? Because it's the Aries star point first, getting out, doing something, being independent, being confident and brave. And because it's Venus and she's retrograde, the Sun is, she's going into the heart of the Sun, into that oven, if we will, the hot fire, and getting purified. And so she's giving birth to this creative project she's been working on for 9 months. And then immediately working on the next thing, which is this Aries. So it's about, bold confidence of self-worth, self-love, right? And because that's what Venus represents. So it's about a 2 hour plus maybe event. It will be recorded if you sign up. And I'm sending out paperwork in advance, a couple days in advance of all your personal content, right? So,
right.
And then I either make a pair of earrings or a charm. So for me, I don't wear earrings. I'd want a charm. But it is the only time I make a talisman that are a pair of earrings. Because they represent Venus, which is what the mirror image is of self. So you can't see your earrings unless you're looking at a mirror or looking at someone else. You're reflecting that beautiful image. So,
yeah. So, and we'll talk that was a decent amount of details. So we'll run over
okay.
some details on the horizon. But let's jump into the transits and start the week ahead, starting with Wednesday, March 19th. Happy birthday to you.
The last day of the zodiac year. I came in right at the last second to be super creative. You know, we have the sun making that connection with Neptune. Now, the sun moves to 29 degrees this time of every, but Neptune being there, So this is the first and only time I'll have that Neptune sitting on my sun. So anybody who else's birthday is this March 19th, 29 Pisces gets this. And this sits on the world point. So, you know, what can you do for the world? What can you do for the world? Or you either completely check out, you know, it's Neptune, Pisces. So you could, you know, feel like you're drowning, feel like you want to escape, or what can you do for the world? Yeah. So
All
be
right.
super creative. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like that New Year's Eve type of energy of like, what do we need to think of? What can we be super creative about our future and what is happening? How can we take where we are and alchemize it into something intentional and that we can get action towards, because the next day sun ingress is Aries.
Yeah. And that's what's happening Thursday, the 20th.
Yeah, Thursday, March 20th, sun ingress Aries, and it's a big happy astrological new year to you all, and happy birthday, Aries.
Yeah, it's at 4:01 a.m. So it's happening in the middle of the night. International Astrology Day. So that is there's going to be a lot of paid and free information on the web. So you could just Google International Astrology Day and see what you can find. There's lots of posts going on, whether it's Thursday or Friday. I know that some are doing it on Friday. It's the International Astrology Day every year.
Yes.
Spring equinox.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, well, and all you Aries people out there, the ones we love and the ones we haven't met yet, happy birthday. Let's move on to Friday, March 21st, Venus retrograde sextile Pluto.
So this is the second of three because we heard retrograde. So we know that Venus is coming backwards into this area at 3 degrees of Aries. And we'll meet up with Pluto one more time, and that will be on May 6th. So remember, you may have promised someone or yourself to make a Plutonian permanent change, right? Maybe that was on February 7th, the very first time they met. Whether it's today, March 21st, you have until May 6th. So check up on that today. Is it going good? Are you slacking? It's okay. Commit to it again. Like I said, you have till May 6th to see what is a very functional essence to bring to your Venusian world.
Right.
You know,
and double down.
Your
Right.
promises to yourself.
Yeah. Those really like blood commitments that we have. So let's move on to Saturday, March 22nd, Venus retrograde, cazimi the sun.
So here we go. This is happening exactly at 8:07 p.m. I have called for our group to get together, and please sign up. I think you'll have a link in here somewhere to sign up. We start at 7 p.m. on Saturday the 22nd. Again, if you cannot join live, it will be recorded. I do need to get information from you in advance. So sign up in advance. I'll get you all the paperwork into your inbox so that you'll be there for live. And if you can't be there for live, you'll still have that information that can, then we'll be talking back and forth because I'll need an affirmation from you because I'll be rolling these beads at that exact moment.
Right.
And you will be calling in on the call. You'll be showing up and unmuting your Zoom call and saying the intention and affirmation out loud while I roll in the
Right.
beads. Yeah.
Right. If you can't be present in the webinar, you are there participating and saying aloud your affirmation. But if you cannot be there, then you go ahead, send that in early before the webinar, and we say it on your behalf.
Yeah. So really, what is reoccurring that happened 8 years ago? You know, the Venus star point, when the Venus is inside of the sun. Ariel Gutman talks about it being when the sun and Venus kiss, right? And there's a recurring cycle. You know, they were here in the retrograde cycle 8 years ago, could be 4 years ago, could be any
Derivative of that.
derivative of 8, 16, 24, any of those. So the last one was March of 2017, just in case you needed to do the math. I needed to do the math for you. That actually happened on March 25th, and it was at 4 degrees of Aries. And just every 8 years, the Venus comes back down in number, lowers. And so we see this as at 2, which means probably, hopefully in my life, because this will be another 16 to 24 years from now, that Venus will start going into Pisces. So this is a major shift when the Venus star point shifts into another zodiacal sign, and it's a 100-year activation. So in other words, we're on the finishing end of the Aries, because we started at 29 and gone back 27, 26, 25, gone backwards, and now we're at 2. So we're finishing up what's about 100 and something year cycle of this particular one of the 5 points is now Aries, and finishing up over the next few years. So you'll be here and alive and watching what's going on in the world cycles.
Right.
So sign up for this talisman ceremony. It is quite important. We do one every 9 months, but they're all different, and they all hit somewhere different in your chart. I give you all this information. I give you what house it's in. If it's making an aspect to one of your natal planets, you need to know this. And actually, I want to shout out to Catherine Boyer. I just saw her at I'll talk a little bit more about her at in our house, because she came up. She's another Venus star point practitioner who's been actually running our sessions. And she came up to say hi to me and bought another talisman. So there's a picture of us on this somewhere. So I'll get that to you.
Nice. All right. So is that a wrap on our week?
No, we have Sunday.
Oh, Sunday, March 23rd, Sun sextile Pluto. Big surge of power.
A surge of power. This is engage and plug into the essence of superpower. The sun in Aries, this entire month will be in Aries, which is exalted. Sun is exalted in this Aries because, wow, it's high honor. It's respected because, man, the sun goes into Aries and we start getting warm. We start on the northern hemisphere gaining the light. We're in the daylight savings time. We're getting our light. We're getting our warmth. We're watching the sun move, right? In fact, the spring equinox is the halfway point, right? Where the sun is now going. You'll start watching patterns on your walls in the morning, in the evening, when the sun is setting. You're seeing a different pattern form, right? Because the sun is at the halfway point. So it's really cool. In fact, I was just talking to my mom today, and she's already out in the yard. Got her outdoor furniture dropped off yesterday because she has it stored every year, and she's out there with her rake and shovel because she can't wait to get out in her garden.
Yeah, love it. All right, so surge of power. We can all be excited to bring that in. Remember that you can download your natal chart at our website. You can even do your friends' charts there, intentionbeads.com/chart. And also, if you are interested in learning a little bit more of the basics of astrology, we highly recommend our astrology guide, and I'll throw the link in the show notes for you all. Let's move on to the horizon, where first and foremost, we really want to highlight, and if we haven't done it enough already, we have our Venus cazimi Sun Talisman workshop coming up. That is happening Saturday, March 22nd. And this is a really exciting time because Venus star points don't come around all that often. So every about 9 months.
Right. It's the gestation period for beginning something new. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that whole gestation, 9 months, we know what we do in a 9-month period, is,
Go from a little embryo to a whole baby.
yeah, and it's time for its birth, and and there'll be it's a slide presentation, so we'll talk about this one. But with the Aries energy, it's forward. It's it's the fire cardinal, so it's like and she's going from a evening star, which hey, check her out. She's falling fast. She's appearing to go backwards. The sun's moving forward. They're going to meet up each other, and she's going to then be a morning star. And that's the other thing we mention, and I point that out for everyone is your Venus a morning star or an evening star? Is that a more Promethean Venus or an Epimethean Venus, right? Are you more of the protester or the evening, settle back, more passive, like I am?
Mm-hmm.
Venus. So you'll get all that. You'll get all these little bits of information on your. I think it's about a 5 or 6 page handout.
Yep, and all completely personalized to you and your chart.
Mm-hmm.
So the link is ready and waiting for you. You can go ahead and sign up. That is going to be happening at 7 p.m. Central, Saturday, March 22nd. So we would love for you to join and really come in with clear, purified intention and affirmation that you can carry away in a talisman form. So let's move on. We have our Greece and Italy retreats. I'll give quick highlight to the Greece retreat, September 15th through the 22nd. This is a really amazing experience and going to be our swan song of a retreat at this Grecian location. It is absolutely beautiful. We adore the staff. We adore the location. All the things and sights to see and do are absolutely incredible. And if you have been wondering about Greece, it is absolutely wonderful. It's become a complete favorite of ours recently in the last few years we've been going. And yeah, we would love to have you join, and so that we could give one really wonderful goodbye to this location. Although I might convince you later in a few years, once I'm married and got my stuff all organized, maybe we will go back sometime, because I really do love it.
There's so many more places I want to go. I mentioned it to Owner Dozier, who's a very well-known astrologer in Turkey, in Istanbul. I saw him this last weekend in the Cosmic Patterns. And so we're going to talk, because he's got some ideas for Istanbul retreat down the road. I want to go back to Egypt in 2026. So I want to go to Portugal. There's I want to go to the Northern Lights. I want to go back to Italy. So a lot of news. I've got a lot of places to go as I turn my next year this week at age 69.
Woohoo!
So it's pretty wild to be ending my 60s already.
Mm-hmm.
And for real, my 60s have been my favorite
decade.
My favorite decade so far, there's kind of like and I don't mean to say this balls to the wind kind of attitude, but I don't know what else to call it. Yeah, I do have purpose, incredible purpose, and not just, raising children or getting married. Not that that's not important. You're about,
I'm at that precipice right
you're
now.
abound that right now, but
Yeah.
there's something about having done that already and
Oh
feeling
yeah.
into the passion and the purpose as you age,
Oh,
right? As
and
you age.
you do it so wonderfully, and it is a real wonderful sight to see, and you host these retreats so beautifully and so heartfelt that it it's so obvious that they are so popular and people want to join in.
Yeah,
So
and
anyway,
so,
we just
yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
highlight
blah, blah,
that
blah.
2025 Greece retreat, September 15th through the 22nd. Click on the link in the description and it'll take you to more information. And yeah, check out that rooftop that we love to utilize every year we're there because it's breathtaking. So yeah, let's move into our house
Or don't forget
where
the Tuscany.
I didn't. I just want to highlight the Greece one, but
Okay,
we
okay.
can also highlight Tuscany's Italy retreat. That's October 4th through the 11th, and
Half sold out.
right, half sold out. So if you are interested in either of those, you can get a free 15-minute call with Sandy to kind of figure out the details,
Yeah,
or
ask
ask
any
any questions that
questions.
you
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
And yeah. So we'll wrap on the horizon and jump into our house, where you are recapping your convergence cosmic patterns conference, and you have been like the webinar warrior these days.
Well, so I got invited to this Convergence Cosmic Patterns in Orlando, Florida, like to vend because Faye, beautiful astrologer who's been in the business for 20 something, 30 years, has asked me, and I couldn't commit. And when I found out who was coming, who was
Mm-hmm.
the faculty, the teachers here, I mean, these are top astrologers that you would see at the large united, like the international retreats. It was amazing who showed up, and who was on the schedule. So particularly one of my favorite is Alexander Amazarach. That he's my teacher, he's my mentor for the reincarnation classes that I've been taking. So man, Demetra George, Rick Levine, I spent lots of time with Rick, Owner Dozier, as I mentioned, Pam Gallagher, Ray Merriman, Ann Ortley, Joni Patry, oh my gosh, Georgia Sathers, Kathy Rose. It was just like full of well-established astrologers who are
Mm-hmm.
leading us in this mission of over 50 years of astrology information and knowledge. And so it was beautiful. And then of course one of my new favorite buddies of all time now is Cameron Cassidy, who is the Egyptian astrologer who I met that went with us to Egypt last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was going. And so it was like, that was my pool to go. So I called Faye back. I said, all right, a month before the thing, she goes, Saini, you got the last booth. I was hoping you were the first and you came in last. So when I showed up and set up, oh my gosh, I didn't expect what occurred. It was super great. It was super, wow. It was fun. Anyway, that's now my favorite astrology conference, and they have it every year. I've never been to it. 150 people, and that includes the 20 presenters. So it was easy, it was sweet, I sold a lot of talismans, I had a lot of conversations, I was meeting people that have had their first talisman in 2013. I chatted with her for a long time. It was just brilliant. So people, put it on your calendar. It's the first full weekend of March. somewhere in Florida. She never knows where, but it's on my calendar already.
Yeah, exciting. And so tell me more about, like, were you able to start some cool conversations? You did mention something about Turkey.
Yeah, so I talked because him and his wife were right next to me at the booth. And, he is and he's an instructor, he's an astrology instructor, author, publisher, researcher. He's authored 40 books. And we talked about doing he's going to give me information to run a retreat out there. And we talked about him coming and teaching a day. Anyway, it's just a lot of conversation. Spent a lot of time with Rick Levine. Spent some time with Demetra George on the dance floor. So yeah, it was fun.
So much fun.
It was fun. Lynn Bell, Charlotte Benson, a lot of my Cincinnati people. I know Pam Gallagher is the astrologer who has her school. She's got an astrology school in Cincinnati, and she had 21 of her students, either current students or former students that are now astrologers, in the house. And when they came up to my booth, and I'm like, Cincinnati, Ohio, oh my gosh, that's where I'm from, and that's where I'm heading back to at some point down the road. And they're all like, hurry up and come. And I sat with them at the dance party, and just great conversation. Of course, when I left Cincinnati, there wasn't a whole lot of astrology. And if there was, it was probably underground, right? So I've been gone now for almost 46 years, and it's thriving. So it's just about time for me to go back.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then tell me about all the webinars that you've been up to.
Oh, so the ones I've been attending, right?
Right.
I've got transiting Neptune and transiting Saturn on my sun. And if you work with me and your helmsman, which is the ruler of your chart. So I'm a Leo rising. So the sun is my helmsman of the chart. When your helmsman is getting activated in some way, again, it could be, it could have a challenging, it's Saturn, it could be a challenge, it's Neptune, it could be a challenge. But when it's coming on, it's the steerer of my ship. So the steerer of my ship is getting activated to say, which way are you going? Are you going under, or are you going higher? Right. And so I've been following a lot. Well, we just saw Dr. Sue Morter, when we were in Scottsdale for that event. And she always does it for me. She always links me to her. But this one was very strong, really, that I could not say no. There was an ebb, an ebb, an ebb, an ebb, and not a flow away. It was an ebb toward her. And so it's kind of like she took me down, right? And I've been following her. I've signed up for some of her classes. I'm doing her meditation classes. And from there, I'm learning to do shamanic drumming. It was fun because really weird. And I told my mom this, which was interesting, because my dad, if my dad wasn't a bricklayer, he would have been a musician. And he loved drums and saxophone. And those were his two instruments. And so as he got older, he had bongo drums from the time I remember growing up. So almost 70 years ago, my dad's been drumming the bongos. And we still have them, of course. And over the years, I've purchased him a djembe. I've purchased the buffalo skin. He's had Congo drums. He's had the big steel drums. He's really a drumming guy. And he could still use those the older he got, and his hands got, a little bit harder and harder to hold anything. He couldn't do the saxophone anymore because he couldn't hold it.
Right.
And so I bought him all these drums so that he could actually play and listen to music and keep his beat and stuff. And so when he passed away 6 years ago, I took all those back. Those are mine. I want them out. And I've had them in the corner of my living room. You see them there up on a chair, kind of like
Right.
decoration. And so one day I'm doing a meditation one morning because I have to do a 20-minute meditation in the morning and a 20-minute one at night. To bring in my guardian angel. It's part of my Kira practice. So there's a lot of meditation going on over here because of that Neptune on my sun in Pisces and Saturn. I have to put boundaries and timing techniques. So that's what I'm kind of honoring Saturn. Anyway, I'm in a meditation and I hear your dad has something to tell you. And I'm like, what is it? What is it? And he never said anything. So I go up to Pilates. I walk up to Pilates. I come back and I see a penny on the ground. And I pick it up, put it in my pocket, 3 more steps, and there's another penny right there. And I'm like, oh, is this the message, Dad? Is this the message? Because I don't find pennies. I don't guess I walk a lot anymore, but I don't see pennies. And I thought, oh, this is 2 of them within a 2-step format, not like together, right? So I'm like, is this the message? And I get home and I'm sitting and I'm doing some painting these days, right? Again, I'm trying to create different kind of creative work because of what I've got going on in my chart. And I all of a sudden hear one of the drums fall off the chair.
Oh.
Right? So I'm like, that's got to be the message. That's got to be what he's saying. So check this out. So I had signed up through Sue Mortar for a 1-hour free webinar at like 1:00 on Saturday, blah, 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 to go to this dreaming through the Greek goddesses and gods, which I love.
Right.
So it's this lucid dreaming practice that I want to learn about. So I was so excited. I signed up for it. It's on my calendar. I rearranged my Pilates so I could go up there, get back, sit there, get ready to do this. And I log on and it says, no, it's next Saturday. Like, oh, I'm so disappointed. I've been looking forward to that, my one big thing on Saturday. And I said, well, I think they have something else going on right now. Let me get over into that and say, okay, what is today? Because they do something at 1:00 every Saturday. You have to register. And I'm like, what is today? So I log on. It's shamanic drumming. Listen to it. I get the drums out. She says, you need 3 drums. I only have 2. They're both my dad's, the buffalo skin and the djembe. So she is teaching us how to go feel the heartbeat of the drum, right? And and so anyway, I got off and it was just like, I got it, Dad. I got it. I'm going to sign up for this shamanic drumming. You want me to drum? That's the answer. And so when I look to start it, it starts on my birthday. So wow. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the message. So I called one of my friends and said, hey, she had bought the other drum when we were in Egypt, which is the hand drum, when you hold it with your hand.
Right. Yeah.
And you use both hands. And she bought that one in Egypt. So I said, hey, do you want to join? And she said, yes. So we're joining this. And so we're going to do some shamanic drumming that will probably be added to some of the retreats.
Oh, fun.
Alexa says I'm done. Alexa, stop. I went off there on a tizzy about that story, but I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, and I think that's also, it's just validating that you're on a really amazing path, that things are coming up and really showing themselves to you, and you're taking them as opportunities, and you're getting more curious, and there's just so many like wonderful things that are happening. And yeah, And
I
I'm
mean,
just really
there's a lot of
excited for you,
things,
Mom.
right? There's a lot of things happening. Again, one of the things I love, where do we go? We have to go high. We can't hide. So go
Right.
high and find something that we can do within ourselves to make ourselves better so that we can be better in our home, in our own bedroom, in our own shower, in the kitchen, in the dining area,
Right.
on the outside of our house, in the neighborhood, at our work. We have to start from it's an inside job. This is not coming from
Totally.
the outside world, because that's where we want to hide from sometimes, right?
Right.
It's especially during this Venus star point. That's the whole purpose of this. It's how are we going to start from fresh? What are we going to inseminate within ourselves that we are creating something about bold self-worth? Anyway,
Right. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Well, I think that is an end to our episode this week. Happy birthday, Mom. And happy International Astrology Day to everybody out there. Go out and celebrate and give Sandy a shout out for her birthday too. All right, everybody. We will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
bye.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you, the story of you.